Okay guys, so as I'm walking up to the campsite, I want to collect some fire tinder. Now where we live, there are a lot of birch trees and there are a lot of dead birch trees. So you can see right here, this is a whole dead birch tree and there's a lot of bark that I can collect to help make my natural fire. But also if you guys look behind me, there's a swamp. So this is all swamp. And it goes down for a ways and it wraps around to a creek that goes past our house. Now right now it is summer, so it's dry season. It has been raining a lot, so the water levels will rise a little bit, but for now it's pretty much dried out. So let me bring you guys in here. So if you look, see there's usually running water and this is just all mud and it's all dried out. But when it's the rain season, or even in the winter time when there's snow and it's melting, you get a lot of water through here, so that's a good water source that we have. We also have a well on our property, which is good. But I'm just going to take some of this bark here, one of these pieces, back up to camp so I can collect that and use that to help make our fire later on for lunch today. Check it out, guys. So as I'm walking, I find this guy. What are you doing, little guy? So these are what we call red F's. And I'm trying to pick him up. There he is. There he is. This little guy. So these are poisonous if you eat them, but not to the touch. So these little guys are usually all over the place in the springtime. This is the first one I've seen this year. It's summertime, so they're not usually out and about like that. But he was just chilling on a log when I walked by, so that's pretty cool. I love them. They're like my favorite things. We call them red F's. But I'm going to take some pictures of him and then get hiking up to the spot. But also, I found another big pile of dead birch. Like 20 yards maybe from the camp, so that's a really good sign. So if we need to start fires, I know that I can come here and get more birch. I don't have to go as far as I did out of the way. So I know there's background noise because the guy that lives close to us is doing, I guess, yard work. But this area behind me, as you guys can see, is different from the woods over there. So you have woods, then you have all these ferns, and this is what we call the cut downs. This is a space of the woods where it's just pretty much open, and it goes a long ways up, and a lot of deer and wildlife like to come through here, turkey and all that. It's not far from our campsite. I used to come up here a lot. I would just sit down and kind of listen to the woods, I guess. It's really green like this in the summertime, and obviously in the wintertime all these ferns die out, but you get a good bit of sunlight here, and then you've got woods behind me. It's a ways up. I'm not going to hike all the way up there, but not far from camp now. Just wanted to show you guys the cut downs. I think it's cool. There's also another thing I'm going to show you on our way back, but for now let's get to the campsite and get to work. Okay guys, so we are out here again at the base camp. Got a lot of stuff to do. Late start today. That's not too much of a problem. Me and Zach usually get some good work done. I can hear him behind me coming up with the quad. The quad is an invaluable tool out here, especially while working on this type of stuff. I brought an apple with me as a little snack. Today's goals are to put a wall on this side, to put some hooks on it so I can hang a lot of my stuff. A table. That might get done, that might not get done, but at least a table frame so I can put things on that as well. And underneath of it, maybe some firewood. But my first priority today is to make a bushcraft chair. These stumps are great for just sitting down, but you can't lean back on them. And after a long day of hard work, you kind of just want to sit down, lean back, and just take a load off and relax. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is make that camp chair. I've got my video, I've got my references, got my notes, so we're going to get to making that now. Okay guys, so we've got a lot of tools to choose from. I've got this hatchet here, a shovel, my machete, but the main tools we're using today, obviously this buck saw that I made, you guys saw this in previous videos, this thing's working good so far, my axe, and the bank line that I put in my bug out bag. This is the only bank line that we have for this trip, so if we run out of it, I'll know that I might need more, or we'll just go right to paracord and using that because I've got plenty of that as well. So first order of business, like I said, is to build the bushcraft chair. I'm going to need a tree, maybe two. It's got to be green wood, so we're going to take one of these smaller trees down. Once we're done building the site, we're not going to be cutting down as many trees, obviously, but for now, taking a couple down is just part of it. So let's go find us a tree that we can cut down and use for this chair. So this is the tree. You guys can see how straight this tree is. Okay guys, so we found the tree. This tree right here is the straightest tree we got, and then the one next to it's a little bit smaller, straight tree. We're making two of them, one for me, one for Zach, so we need double the wood. The two of us should make short work of this tree though with the saw. Okay guys, so this is tree number 2. We've got a lot of cleaning up to do, but it's nice and straight as you guys can see. And camp is right over there, so we don't have to drag it too far. Okay guys, so basically 2 trees equals 2 chairs. That's the theory here. This is my tree, all the way down there. It runs down. Now I'm just gonna address this once and kind of be done with it. We have 10 acres of land, and as you guys can see, it's just packed with trees. I know we've been cutting a lot of trees down, but we're making a base camp. So essentially, all the work that we're doing up until the base camp is done is going to be cutting trees down, cutting logs, processing wood, whatever we gotta do until it's done. Once it's done, we're not gonna be taking down trees, but there are trees everywhere. It's a forest, it's woods, it's a mountain. I mean, there's wood everywhere. I know for all of you, I don't want to say tree huggers, but for all of you, I guess tree huggers out there, I know you probably hate seeing this. I get it, but it's what we have to do. And you know what? This camp's going to be here for the rest of our lives, maybe for our kids. This land is not going anywhere. There's like 5 generations of us that have the house and this land. We're not going anywhere, so this is like a permanent shelter on our land. That's going to be used for generations to come. So this work that we're putting into it is essentially for life, forever. So that's just my little disclaimer. I know we're cutting a lot of trees down, but that's the last time I'm going to talk about it. I do feel a little guilty, but at the same time, when I look down the road, it's going to be worth it. So we cut down my tree. Zach went to get some bug spray because the bugs are bad out here. and we're gonna get to cleaning it up and cutting it and bringing it to camp so we can start really working on it and putting the chair together. Okay, so now that it's cleaned up, we got to start cutting our log into quarters. This is a pretty thick log, a decently thick log, so my chair is going to be a little bit heavier duty. I'm going to cut it about here. So I'm going to come over here. I'm just going to cut it right at this knock right here. Okay guys, so we got our one log cut here. We got a lot of cutting to do, so this is just one. And we've got about 4 more to cut, so let's get to it. Okay guys, so a little trick that I use, or that you can use, is you can use your saw or your axe to measure out your pieces of wood. So you could take it and measure the piece that you've cut, and then you can use that to measure all the other pieces so you don't have to drag that one piece of log back and forth. Okay, so this log is 1, 2, 3, a little less than 3.5 pieces, so when I'm cutting this, I know that I can do about 3.5 of these. Alright, so that piece was about 3.5 of these, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 3.5, be about here. So I'm going to cut that off now. That's our second piece. So these are our pieces right here that we just cut. Alright, so we've got our pieces back to camp now. I'm just grabbing a drink. Whew. So now what I basically have to do is make 2 A's. We're going to take 2 of these poles, cut slots in them so that they go together like this, cut a notch on the outside of them, tie that up, and that's going to be our A-frame. And we need 2 of those, one for the back of the chair and one for the seat rest. So we're gonna get to doing that now. Alright. Nice thing about my shelter is that I can use it to help construct this without hurting myself or overworking.